well-paid leaders.
We build ventures.
We don't just study technology, we build the future with it.
We
Our Cornell Tech.
Alrighty then. Well, I'm sure at this point you guys are like, you know what? I don't even need the rest of the presentation. I'm ready to come, right? All jokes aside, I know that's a great preview and snippet, but there's definitely more wonderful additional information you guys could hear from me today. So let me just pull up my slide deck and get started. Alrighty. Give me 1 second. It's right over here. It's like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Sorry guys, give me 1 moment. I thought I pulled the right here we go. And let me just right. Okay, so here we go. So now we have the correct viewing for you guys. So today we're going to talk about a multitude of programs, and these are the areas that I cover. As I mentioned, I work with students who apply to our technical programs. So that includes our Masters of Engineering in Computer Science. And computer science does come in 2 formats, both full-time and part-time. We have electrical and computer engineering, operations, research and information engineering, data science and decision analytics, our connective media program, health tech, and urban tech. So that is what I represent, and that's what we're going to cover today. So here's today's agenda. We're going to talk about our Cornell Tech campus. We're going to talk about what distinguishes us from other institutions, which is our studio program. We're also going to discuss the curriculum and the outcomes that you can usually expect upon graduation. We're going to talk about the admissions process because I know a lot of you guys are like, how do I get in, right? We're going to talk about the financial planning aspect. And last but certainly not least, give you an opportunity to ask questions as well. So I want to make sure everything's covered. Alrighty, so just wanted to give you a little bit of history as to how we got to where we are today. So just a fun fact, Cornell Tech has been around since 2011. So been around for some time now. And when we first started, we graduated our first class in 2013, and we started out with 7 computer science students. So really small class, and look at us now. Now we have 621 master's students, we have 158 PhD students, and 50 professors that serve our students. So we've grown since. We were actually located originally in the Google building of New York City. So that's where we kind of started. But of course, the vision was always to have our own full-fledged campus, and we're fortunate that we're able to produce that on Roosevelt Island. So that's where we're located right now. The way I like to best describe us is that we are Cornell University's New York City campus, but at the same time, we're our own campus. We're here because of the fact that Mayor Bloomberg, who was the mayor of New York City at the time, his whole vision was to open up an engineering campus in New York City for the purposes of adding another great financial boost for the New York City economy. New York City historically has always been known for getting money from the financial industry, but he thought we could be more, and clearly we are. And it's been really great because we've grown our campus, we've had many graduates since, and again we continue to grow. So that's who we are and where we are today. So let's talk about what distinguishes us, right? So just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea. So I know that, of course, in your mind, you're wondering, why should I go to Cornell Tech, right? There's many wonderful institutions out there, but what is it about your institution specifically that distinguishes from the Carnegie Mellons of the world, the NYUs, the Columbias? And I'm going to tell you what that is. So that's our studio program. So what our studio program is it's an opportunity for you to really get that hands-on experiential learning, and it's a part of your whole curriculum. Whether you are one of our one-year students, whether you're a two-year students, everyone will get the opportunity to do it. So all master students here get to do it. Whether you are a Master's of Engineering student, you're an Information Science student, you're a law student, MBA student. And that's the great thing about this. Because everyone is required to do this, you get the opportunity to work with folks of different disciplines. So that is the one thing. And the other thing what's great is that you're actually going to get the guidance and the mentorship from these industry advisors who are here to help you solve these kind of real world challenges, which is great. And on top of that, not just only, as I mentioned, working with different disciplines, but also with the industry advisors. But last but certainly not least, you will get the continuous support of our Cornell Tech faculty who are going to give you feedback, instruction, and just everything that you need. So just to kind of let you know, the way this typically works is that with our experiential learning, which is our year-long program studio, you get 2 semesters of it. You get, for example, you first start off with something called Product Studio, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide. And then your second semester is when you get the opportunity to choose a different studio experience. And we're going to talk about those as well. But let's focus on Product Studio first. So let me just go on to this. So with Product Studio, it is a great multidisciplinary experience. So you're going to get the opportunity to work with different disciplines as mentioned. And a lot of these challenges that you're dealing with are typically things that are faced by startups, are faced by different companies, social impact organizations. So the list goes on and on. And as I mentioned, how it's going to work is that you actually get an industry advisor that's there to sort of support you throughout your process on those challenges that you're working on. And there's a multitude of challenges that you could focus on. It's really dependent on, what you're interested in and what you really would like to focus on. So, whether for example, let's say you're interested in more on the health tech side, or you're interested in fintech, or just anything that you could think of. How it works is that there's going to be a multitude of different challenges and opportunities that you can sort of focus on. And really your goal is to work with your team to propose a solution to a lot of these problems. And as I mentioned, you're going to have that industry advisor who's there to sort of coach you, mentor you, make sure that you're on the right path. Because we want to make sure that, while you're working on your process to sort of propose that solution, that it makes sense, that it's feasible, that it fits the current demand. So that's kind of what you can expect in Product Studio. And the good thing is that you'll get the opportunity to ensure that you're on the right track, because not only will you have the industry advisors to support you, but you're also presenting your work and your progress on our monthly maker days. Those are really big days for you to be able to showcase what's going on with your project and really continue to make it better. And at the end of the day, the goal is, you're going to provide that solution that's going to be strong and feasible and viable, which is great. So that's a little bit about Product Studio. And I'm actually going to give you an example of just one of the many challenges that we've had. I mean, every year there's a lot of different and exciting challenges, but this is just one example. So this challenge actually comes from INWA, which is one of the companies and organizations. And a lot of what this organization does is really very climate infrastructure platform, always trying to provide solutions that help governments and organizations. And the challenge here that was presented was like, how might we use technology to support consumers to grow their own food? And I think this is a really interesting thing, because I think nowadays folks are definitely becoming more health conscious. It's something that they're really interested in, what you're putting in your bodies. So it's like, not only how can we accomplish that, but how can we use, tech? Because there's so many good things that tech can impact in a positive way. And this was one of the challenges. So, our students took on this challenge. They really appreciated that. And ultimately what they proposed as a solution was, why don't we come up with home greens? And what home greens is essentially was a product that provided customized and detailed information pretty much to help with the planning process, help with guidance, and even, facilitate opportunities to connect with other folks. Because I would say, to be fair, especially with the health movement and things of that nature, I think there's a lot of a community that find this really important. So this is just an example of some of the challenges that organizations kind of had put out there for our students. And this is a great example of one of the solutions. One of the other things, and it's not here on this list, but I just wanted to share as well. There was really it was a challenge by Verizon, and what Verizon had really wanted was to be able to provide an opportunity where parents can kind of know what's going on with their teens in the virtual world, but at the same time without being sort of intrusive. So that was really the challenge, is like, how can we keep you in the know about what your child is browsing, what they're seeing? And of course, the whole thing is, right, as a parent, you want to make sure that you keep your child safe and make sure that they're doing well and things of that nature. But at the same time, you also kind of want to create that trust and that connection and things of that nature. So what our students who worked on this particular challenge proposed was pretty much creating this opportunity where the parents could still kind of see what their web activity is, but more in a general sense. So that way it still respected the privacy of their children, but at the same time, if there was something alarming or anything that they might have been worried about, they can sort of kind of talk about it, at the dinner table. I'll give an example. Let's say, there was something that was like sexual violence or something that they're browsing, and that's what came up in terms of what their web activity was. It doesn't go into the specifics. Maybe the parents could kind of go talk about it more of in a general sense, and maybe provide whether it's interventions or solutions or whatever the case may be, but again, without still being too intrusive and exactly pinpointing what they were looking at. So these are just a couple of examples of a lot of the things that our students work on in terms of the projects and the solutions and things of that nature. So just wanted to give you that example. And just to give you a sense of our industry advisors who typically coach and advise our students, these are just some examples of some of the organizations that they're coming from. So, it is from the New York City and beyond area. So trust me, you guys are in great hands, which is great. So just another opportunity to not only deal with real world challenges, but also deal with folks who work in many different companies and organizations. So as I mentioned, you start off with product studio, which is great. But then your second semester is where you get the opportunity to work on a different studio experience. And you typically get 3 different opportunities. You can do startup studio, you can do Big Coast Studio, and you can do PyTech Impact Studio. So totally up to you as to what you want. Now, the difference with this studio experience is that you now get to actually make your own team, which is great. When you do product studio, we do our best for sure to try to facilitate something where you get to get paired up with not only different disciplines, but folks who kind of have similar goals and passions and interest in tech, which is great. And we usually do a really good job at that. And I think our teams are typically very happy about that, which is great. But now, with the secondary studio experience, you've sort of been here for a semester, a little more, you've gotten familiar with folks, and now you can sort of pick your own team, which is pretty awesome. So that's what happens with the second semester. And as mentioned, Startup Studio is one of those opportunities, and it's pretty much in the name. It's for students who want to create their own business, who are entrepreneurial, who are risk takers, who are disruptors, who just want to build something to make a difference for the world, essentially. So if that's you, Startup Studio is a great thing. I mean, this is actually one of the most pivotal, and I would say sort of the beginnings of our studio was our Startup Studio experience. So you can't go wrong with that. Definitely can't go wrong with any of our other options as well, but this is kind of what we started with. And ultimately, the goal of this is really for you to come out and just know what it takes to build that startup. And of course, there's a lot of key skills that you need while you are ultimately doing all these things, right? You definitely need to learn what product market fit means, how to create that appropriate business plan, how to present it to investors, right? Because in order for you to build that startup, there are all these different steps that you need to take and skills to develop. So that's kind of what we ensure. We also have mentorship from our current startup founders, from other startup founders. Sometimes there's different sessions and different opportunities where you can hear from these folks and different networking opportunities. So you're going to get a lot of support, not just from faculty, but um, also, of course, even ongoing professionals in this area as well. And one of the final things that I also wanted to mention before I go on to our next slide is our startup awards. I do want to start off with saying that our startup awards is open to any person that is a master's student. It's not specific to Startup Studio, but at the same time, I still wanted to mention it before I went to our next slide. So one of the other unique differentiators from our institution is that you get to compete for our startup awards. So what does that mean? What is that? So every year we have this competition that's open again to all of our master students. And really the goal is to give the top 4 or 5 teams every year who have the best idea that is definitely ready, $100,000 investment, and Cornell Tech's support to sort of make that happen. So what happens is you and your team, you submit your idea and through this competition. And if you're one of the top 4 or 5 teams, we give you $100,000 right there. And we're like, you know what? Let's take your idea and let's make it a reality. And the great thing is that you also not only get the financial support, but as mentioned, we also give you the space as well. So you'll get space on campus for a year after graduation to actually be able to work on it as well. So just another wonderful perk, and I think what differentiates us from most institutions. All right, so I think Startup Studio is amazing and it's a great opportunity. But we understand that everyone's also got different aspirations and different goals and different things that they might be interested in, which is why Big Co Studio is another opportunity that you could also get involved in and take advantage of this opportunity. So what Big Co Studio is, it's in the name. It's for students who want to work at a big company, who, whether you want to work at, like, I'm just using an example, like a Google or an Amazon or whatever the case may be. That's kind of what this is for. So the way it kind of works is, again, you still also have a lot of this liberty to build your own team, which is amazing. And you apply for sort of the company that you want to work with. Let's say you're like, I want to work with, Apple or Amazon or Google or whatever. I'm just giving you all these examples. And pretty much, if approved, what happens is a representative from that particular organization, more specifically, they're typically like a VP or higher. They serve as your mentor throughout this project, and they sometimes have a couple different options that you can work on. But the great thing is, you're going to have the mentorship of that particular a VP or higher of that organization. What's great thing is, it may be a lot of current issues that they're dealing with, which is great. So, it's a really good opportunity if that's more your career trajectory and your preference, if you prefer like the Big Co Studio. And last but definitely not least is our PyTech Impact Studio. That is our third studio option. And this is for our students who really are focused on tech, to make a difference for like the nonprofit side of organizations, more government side. The way PyTech Impact Studio works is actually very similar to the Big Co Studio in the sense of the mentorship of somebody who's like a VP or higher. Same thing. There's also like an application process as well. But again, if once you complete that and are approved, you'll work with someone and they will kind of support you as you're proposing a solution to some of the issues that they may be dealing with at their organization. So that's I would say this is why you want to come here, Studio. And just a fun fact. While Studio is a very big and impactful part of your program, it is also just one class per semester that you're kind of dealing with. So you're still going to be getting the technical depth and breadth, which is great. But you're also going to be, again, getting the high impact studio experience, which is great.
Yeah. Alfred, if I could just chime in for a second, let me kind of summarize why studio is important and sets us apart from other institutions. So I'm going to give you 2 examples. So with the startup awards that Alfred had mentioned, we typically award 4 teams $100,000 in funding, as well as space within Cornell Tech where they can continue to spin out. Um, uh, they've been very successful in the last 10 years or so. We have over 130 spin-outs. They generate about $400 million in revenue and employ about 400 people. One of the more recent ones, I think 2 years ago, one of the groups used AI to create a smart exercise mat, and it was recently bought out by Peloton. Okay. Let me give you another example of why people come here. So we had a person, she was in our health tech program, and her father had a prosthetic limb, but it wasn't very functional. And she had worked with the healthcare industry, to try to get them to do something about it, but for them, they weren't familiar enough with the problem, and it wasn't going to generate enough revenue. So it was one of those put up or shut up moments. So she said, I'm going to come to a place like Cornell Tech because I understand the patient. I understand the problems with the functionality, but I'm going to hook up with someone from computer science who can do the programming. I'm going to hook up with someone from electrical and computer engineering who can do the hardware. And she ended up creating a startup that improved her father's prosthetic limb functionality, made her father happy, and she made money off the deal. Okay. So now let me summarize why studio is important. So I hate to make your lives more difficult than they already are, but that is my job. So basically, you're preparing yourself for a career that has not been invented yet. The best way to hedge against that kind of uncertainty is to diversify your skill sets. In studio, you will be working alongside people who have a subject area expertise greater than your own. And yet, the success of that project will be contingent upon utilization of those skill sets. You will also be working with people who have different time management skills than your own. So I'm the type of person that likes to get things done well in advance so that if there's a problem, we can deal with it. But I've found through life, and you will find in our studio curriculum, there are what we call procrastinators that spring into action the night before and miraculously have everything ready for the 9 o'clock meeting in the morning. Okay? Scares the hell out of me, but they are actually good at it. And for me as a manager to try to force them into my time management style is not going to work. Okay. So this is the real world. You'll be able to practice those skill sets in a real world setting so that you can learn how to do that and you'll be much more successful. A person asked about research opportunities. So Cornell Tech focuses more on application-based research versus academic research. If you're interested in academic research, then you should probably go for an MS, which is a 2-year program. We do offer limited research opportunities. Those are typically in your second semester. So usually the professors want you to get your feet wet and get to know them and get some of the basics down. And then some of our students will engage in research. We're doing research on autonomous vehicles. Right now, we're doing research on can the autonomous vehicle monitor the passenger's vital signs? Okay. So I'll give you an example. So let's say it's Friday night and you're all going out to the game or to a concert or maybe to the World Cup game, okay? And while you're on your way, someone's having a heart attack, okay? So problem is that autonomous vehicle has directions on where to go, and yet that location is 2 miles away, and yet the hospital is on the next block. So how do you get the autonomous vehicle to take you where you need to go versus or where you need to go versus where you're planning on going? Okay. So we're doing those types of things and our students get involved in some of those activities as well. But anyways, tell them a little bit about the programs, Al.
Yes, thank you, Joe. Thank you. And just wanted to share this as well. You know, on our website too, you're actually able to get an opportunity to see a lot of the companies and organizations that have kind of come out of Cornell Tech, more specifically, our alumni and other folks, which is great. So if you're interested in that, that's another great opportunity. And I also actually even have a whole bunch of slides that maybe even go even more in depth on some of the different things that have come out from these companies and organizations as well that I'm happy to share. So just wanted to put it out there, and if you're curious, at the end of this, I'm going to share the email so that way you guys can refer to it at any point. So just putting that out there. All right. So let's kind of give you at least a curriculum overview. First off, I want to start off with our 1 year programs, which are our MEngs, which is Master's of Engineering. And then when it comes to this, of course, we have our computer science. We have our electrical and computer engineering, our operations research and information engineering, as well as our data science and decision analytics. And in short, of course, when it comes to computer science, we're typically looking for someone with a strong programming background. That's at least the simple explanation of it. A lot of the coursework that you're going to see, of course, the big thing, of course, is AI. But of course, there's also HCI, computer vision, and the list goes on in terms of the different opportunities that you can kind of take on when it comes to computer science. And then there's, of course, electrical and computer engineering. Folks who are interested in hardware and software, maybe have a passion for that machine learning and robotics. So you will see a lot of electrical courses, systems, things of that nature. And then, of course, these two other fantastic programs, which is our operations research and information engineering, which I'll start off with that. Typically, we're looking for someone with a quantitative background. So, math, to put it plain and simple. And in terms of the goal of this particular major, of course, is you're using your quantitative skills and data skill set to make an impact for business decisions for that company organization that you're working on. And then, of course, there's data science and decision analytics, another strong program that also typically looks for someone with a quantitative background. Again, math, data and things of that nature. Also, thinking about optimization and things of that nature, but more of using your data skill set on a computing side. If you're also, thinking about working in AI and things of that nature. I'll give you an example. So I suspect folks here on the call have probably used Uber or Lyft before, or probably even still use it. use it. I always find it interesting in terms of like how, depending on a certain time, it's like it could be $8, and then 5 minutes later, it's like now $12 or $13 and things of that nature. These are the kind of things that data science and decision analytics will kind of be able to help you with. So just putting things out there. Yeah, fun fact. Yeah, I deal with that every day because I myself do an Uber or Lyft for work. So I'm like, oh man, maybe I should do data science and decision analytics, right? Alrighty. So I talked about those programs. I also wanted to quickly talk about our Jacobs dual MS programs because I know we also had students that talked about having interest in these areas as well. So these are our 2 year programs, and it's for 60 credits. And just like our master's programs, they're also fall only programs as well. And just a fun fact for students who actually enroll in these programs, you actually get 2 degrees for the price of one, which I think is pretty amazing. And the thing is, you don't really have to do anything much different other than making sure you're attending class, you're doing all the right things. And what I mean by that is this. So when you graduate and get your degree for our Jacobs Technion-Cornell dual MS programs, you're getting your MS in Information Systems from Cornell University, but you're also getting your MS in Applied Information Science from the Technion-Israel Institute of Technology. So the reason you get this opportunity is because actually there's a lot of things that are part of Cornell Tech, and we're actually called Cornell Tech because we're a fusion of Cornell University and the Technion-Israel Institute of Technology, and we wouldn't be here, this particular campus wouldn't be here without the Technion-Israel Institute of Technology. So again, that's why we're called Cornell Tech. That's why we also have these dual degree option. We also have something called the Jacobs Institute, where you get to do kind of research and other different types of learning experiences as well. And that's one of the great benefits of the Jacobs Technion dual MS degree, is that you get 2 degrees for the price of one, and you're doing this all at the Cornell Tech campus, which is great. For our Jacob students, typically what we're looking for is someone who has a background in, say, like information science or computer science. Someone who definitely is technical in nature, but also is maybe a little bit more specialized and interested in certain areas of tech for sure. The other thing that you'll come to find with these particular programs, which I think is really awesome, is that it's typically a diverse skill set. What I mean by that is there are students who have that background in information or computer science, but we also have some students who maybe gain that experience in other ways. Maybe you have gained it through work experience. Maybe you did sort of a post-grad experience in combination with your work experience. So it's just a lot of different folks that you'll kind of see in these programs, which is great, but all with the similar goal of making an impact in that particular area that they're interested in. So, for example, with connective media, right? Typically for my UI, UX, HCI kind of folks, that if that's you, you'll definitely be interested in this opportunity for sure. So a lot of our students, in addition to their technical skill set, have some experience in the HCI, behavioral science, psychology. So very human focused, really. Your focus is to ultimately use your technical skill set, and of course, make it easy for folks, which is great, right? And if you are thinking about health tech, and this is what I find one of the most interesting things. So we actually, a lot of the startups that have come out of Cornell Tech in general have been sort of in the health tech space. Just a fun fact. Yeah, if you're interested in using your technical ability to make an impact, for those doctors, for those nurses or whomever, I think this is a great opportunity. I'll give you an example. So, fun fact, my wife's pregnant, and I've gone to some of these doctor's appointments, and sometimes when she is doing her when they're doing the sonogram and things of that nature, like she's like, oh, AI is kind of supporting with this as well. So it's just interesting how, like, I think if there are things like this that you are interested in, I think this could be a really great opportunity for you. As I mentioned, in addition to the sort of technical background, you may have worked in the sciences field, in the health field, maybe biomedical or something of that nature is your background. So health tech, great opportunity. And then of course, urban tech. If you, I know someone on the call mentioned they're in the New York City area. How great would it be if you were someone who impacted your city, used your technical ability for that? One of the fun things that I had seen is like that has come out of Cornell Tech is that someone was kind of sort of testing like a trash robot. Because if you're if you're in any city, as you know, that's typically something that folks always try to make sure that you keep the place great and amazing. So yeah, but there are many different issues out there in a city, and if you can use your technical ability to solve that, urban tech is for you. So, like I said, not just the technical background, but maybe you have a background in urban design, architecture, industrial, civil engineering. So the list goes on and on. So that's kind of what these programs are for. And just wanted to mention that every single program does kind of have in the dual MS program has sort of central classes that everyone takes, but then there's also things that are specific to your particular major. So what you'll kind of see with connective media focus is everything is human focused, right? You kind of already see it right on the screen, right? User research or revolutionary tech, user experience, human social electives. So that's kind of some of the things that you're going to be doing in addition to the set courses that you have to take. And then I'll go to health tech, which I think is pretty awesome too. You have your health core courses. And the other good thing is, and you guys may have known this or not, students also get the opportunity to take classes at Weill Cornell, which I think is amazing. It's a good opportunity for you to be able to be around those, if not existing medical professionals, but even aspiring professionals, which I think is great. So it's like you could take classes with, you not only taking classes on our campus, you get the opportunity to take classes over there. And the great thing is, it's not too far from this campus, which is great. So easily hop on a train or tram or whatever it is that works best for you and be able to take that class which is great. You can take things like health tech oriented machine learning, and then you have a whole bunch of health concentration electives that you can take advantage of. So I think health tech, awesome program. And then of course, urban tech, you just like the others, you have your core courses that you have to fill, things like the urban systems, urban data science in the wild. And the great thing about this is that you also have the flexibility of pretty much choosing from all different areas. A lot of the things that I've heard from urban tech folks is that you really get to kind of create your own venture. I know sometimes students are really interested in like climate tech or smart cities or things of that nature. If you want to take courses in these kind of areas, I mean, the world's your oyster. So just wanted to mention that. All right. And the final thing that I also wanted to mention about this particular degree program. Oh, looks like we have a raised hand. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Uh, Muhassin, am I saying that correctly? Oh, sorry, and I should maybe give you instructions. You can unmute your microphone if you wanted to ask a question or something of that nature. Or put it on the chat. That's okay too. Joe will answer it there if that works. Okay. So just wanted to talk about the specialization project. So this is a good opportunity for students who kind of want to get that research component, which is great. So it's a 2 semester requirement that students work on, and you get 2 different options and 2 different flexibilities. And what I like about this is that it allows you to kind of fulfill what you're most interested in. And what I mean by that is, there might be students that are like, let's say you're interested in LLMs or something like that. Let's just put that out there. And what happens is you'll take a course in the LLM world for sure. And basically, while you're taking that course, you're also working on a project that sort of showcases your skill set in that area, which is great. So that is what the anchor course and the self-directed project is. But I know another thing that I always see this in our essays and things of that nature. A lot of students go, "Oh, well, I'm interested in working with Nikki Dell, or I'm interested in working with uh, Anna Scaglione and more." So there's many professors. So I guess the reason what I'm saying is we also give the opportunity to do something called the faculty directed independent study. So really how it works is you kind of connect with the faculty member that you're interested in, and assuming they approve you, what happens is that you would support them with their research and study. So these are the 2 ways that you can really fulfill this requirement. So that's the other great and wonderful thing about this particular program is that you get the specialization project aspect in addition to studio, which is great. So best of both worlds. And I just wanted to talk to you about our career outcomes. As you can see, 2025, 89% employment rate, which is great. Still our students are very strong and doing very, very well, which is what we're very excited about. And a lot of these opportunities that our students continue to get are things like, in software development, data science, data analysis, and data engineering, things of nature. And still a lot of the great companies that you guys, I'm sure, are very interested or want to be a part of, which is like the Googles, the Amazons, the Bloombergs of the world. So, and then just to kind of highlight this particular aspect for our students who are enrolled in the 2 program, a lot of them really do take advantage of the summer in between the first and the second year. Typically, what students want to do is they want to take advantage of an internship. And so that's what they'll do. They'll kind of stay here. And as you can see, a lot of these internship opportunities that students really get to do are in data science or software development. And also, similar to the companies that hire you, also big names like the Googles and the Amazons of the world, where a lot of these internships do get to take place at. So just wanted to add that. Sorry, let me go on to my next slide. And just to kind of let you know, in terms of career outcomes, this is the median salary for our students. One of the things that I also wanted to add is that, it is a fact for sure that, higher degrees in the long term will ultimately always ultimately result in more money, which is great. So that's the great thing is, you're adding to your skill set, you're increasing your advantage in the market. You're also because you know a lot of different things, you'll be able to bring that to the company, which is great. And of course, as I mentioned, long term financially, higher degrees typically results in greater lifetime income. So you can't beat that. And just wanted to add this. I mean, I always like to talk about this because, I mean, in all honesty, I think Cornell Tech does a great job, but our alumni, they were once our students, that's why I call them alumni now, are really are difference makers, right? They are the ones that contribute to part of the mission of Cornell Tech, which is, building up the New York City economy, which is great. So, and as you can see, more than 128 startups founded by Cornell Tech since 2014. More than 370 million raised since 2014. More than 720 people that have employed by Cornell Tech startups. So thanks to our students, life is definitely going well. So thank you guys in advance, I say. All right. All right. So let's talk about our application requirements. Because I know you're like, okay, this is all amazing. Now, how do I get in, right? What do I need to do to make myself a strong, competitive individual? So let's talk about the requirements first, succinctly, and then I'll go kind of more detail about everything. So, online application, just like most institutions. Just a fun fact for everyone on this call. Guess what? Application fee, don't have to worry about it. You guys showed up, here's your prize. That's waived. So what's going to happen is you guys will actually get an email just sharing with you the application fee waiver. And then once the application opens up, which is planning in August, you guys will get the opportunity. I mean, we don't expect you to apply that early, but for those who want to apply that early, you're more than welcome to. You can already apply the fee waiver, which is great. Of course, we want all your academic records. If you've graduated, the proof of your bachelor's, your resume, 2 letters of rec, a personal statement, and a video essay. Now, in terms of your transcripts, so for all of our technical programs, at a minimum, we want to see there are some prerequisites that we have for you guys. But of course, we want to see more of that. I just want to give you at least the minimum. So, for example, for the Masters of Engineering, everything except operations research and data science, we typically want to see at a minimum of statistics, linear algebra, your sort of an introductory programming class, and a data structure. That's at a minimum, right? But of course, we also want to see something beyond that, right? If you're computer science, a lot of programming, sort of based courses, electrical and computer engineering, definitely a lot of, systems, electrical courses, things of that nature. And of course, when it comes to our operations research and data science program, so here's the difference. I talked about a lot of math. So at a minimum, statistics, linear algebra, a calculus course, and a programming course. But from what I've seen with a lot of the operations research and data science students, typically these folks go all the way to differential equations and things of that nature. I'm not saying you have to go all that far, but typically have strong math backgrounds as well. So that's kind of what we're looking for, at least from a academic perspective. Our technical is typically most important. GPA wise, the average GPA of our students is typically a 3.5. One of the things that I do want to mention, I always tell students, sort of joking, you don't have to be perfect to get into an Ivy League, but nearly perfect. But all jokes aside, what I mean by this is, let's say you take a tennis course. By the way, nothing wrong with tennis. Awesome sport. I just picked it because it's the first thing that came to my mind. And you got like a C plus in tennis. I'm not going to be like, and I'm just going to pick the first name I see here. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, Matthew got a C plus in tennis. Maybe you have all perfect A's. Apologies. I'm not saying you have C. But it's like, okay, Matthew has all A's, but he got a C plus in tennis. I don't think he can do computer science. No, that we're definitely not going to penalize you for stuff like that. So I know you're like, who could blame me? I see you. But yes, so that's what I mean by that, and make sure you finish strong, continue to do well. So just wanted to put that out there. In terms of your resume and things of that nature. So as you guys have kind of gotten the idea, we're very practical kind of based programs. So more hands-on, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your whole resume has to be like a full of hands-on experiences. I've accepted students that have had full-on research experience. I've accepted students who've had a mix of hands-on and sort of more practical experience. I've had accepted students who have all practical experience. So the most important thing, in short, is really to be able to demonstrate the relevance and sort of the transferable skill sets that connect to the program that you're applying to. Because, we all come from different backgrounds, and, there are some folks that I already knew from day one that I want to work in more industry. There might have been some folks that really have done like a lot of research, and then as they're doing this, while they enjoyed research, maybe really realize that they kind of want to use their skill set to make a difference on a more practical sense. So this is why, we kind of look at everything. The most important is the relevancy and the competence. So if that can be demonstrated in your resume, that is an excellent start. And your letters of recommendation, just we typically recommend one academic and one professional. But we also are flexible. And what I mean by that is this, like, the most important thing is that I want to have people who can really talk about you um, accurately. Um, I would rather you give me two professionals or two academics than try to force one of each, because really these are the folks that really give me an opportunity to see the information outside of your resume, outside of your personal statement. Now, I want to know, you know, are you not only like technically gifted, but are you good with teams? Are you also someone that has had leadership sort of experience? And leadership experience comes in different ways. It could be that you led a team, or it could be that you stepped up to the plate. It doesn't necessarily mean that you were in charge of the team, right? Maybe you contributed when they were really having a time where they needed somebody to step up, right? So, um, uh, again, looking for leadership, your technical ability, and just your experience with teams, whether it's with the same disciplines or different disciplines. So make sure that you can pick people who can highlight a lot of these things, because that's kind of what we're looking for. That I mean, that's who we are. We are very interdisciplinary. We're all we're very leadership focused, technically. We're interested in the technical ability and things of that nature. So I guess in short, I'm also saying, don't pick someone who's just going to say, you got an A+ in calculus 3. I saw that in your transcript. I want someone who can really give me the nitty gritty, right? So just wanted to put that out there. And then with the personal statement, we typically offer you two writing prompts. The first one is really like, why Cornell, pretty much why Cornell Tech and how you make sense for Cornell Tech. So that is one option. Or the second one is really talking about a technical sort of project that you worked on. So it is really up to you. I would say, if you choose the first option, really do your research. We really want to make sure that we're picking right fits. So you already know about yourself, so that's the easy part. But getting to Cornell Tech and tying it to you as your person, I think, is what will make something really strong and effective. And last but certainly not least is the video essay. The video essay pretty much is a video interview at your leisure, is what I mean by that. So you can pretty much record when you're ready, and we always warn you ahead of time. So we won't give you the questions in advance. It's really a surprise. So, because, like I said, it's an interview at your own leisure. But if you have done your research on Cornell Tech, if you know what we're about, and I think part of this is sort of giving you some of the familiarity, and again, you know yourself, I think this will give you the best opportunity to give the strongest interview possible. But that's kind of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me just add. So, we're giving you the answers here. So we told you about studio. So in your application, have you ever worked in teams? Have you ever worked in interdisciplinary teams? Have you ever been a leader of a team? Boom, you got it. Okay. We don't want people that don't work well with others. That's not going to work here. Okay. The other thing that we find is this. Um, when you're applying for a master's program or a doctoral program, you have to approach it as though you are God's gift to the world. Okay. Now I know folks are humble. I come from a family of nine. It was always a team effort and stuff like that, but that's not the way it worked for graduate school. Okay. So do not use tentative language like I think, I hope, I feel. No, you are. You are God's gift to the world, and you have to let us know because we get thousands of applications. So we're reading these all the time. So we need to have something that sets you apart from everybody else. So do those things. On your resume, include skill sets, not job responsibilities. Skill sets are transferable, job responsibilities are not. So I'll give you a basic example. So a lot of folks that applied to our program were tutors. So typically I might see something on the resume that says tutored ninth graders in math and science. Okay. That's a job responsibility. It's not a skill set. I'm assuming before you tutored that person, you developed and implemented some sort of assessment mechanism to determine what their current skill sets are. Then you developed and implemented some sort of lesson plan to try to improve those skill sets. And then you assessed again at the end to see whether your intervention was successful or not. So skill sets job responsibilities. Same thing with your research. If you're doing your research, what skill sets did you have? Where did you do quantitative or qualitative research? Did you use some sort of statistical package? So, like for my dissertation, I used I did a survey instrument and a focus group. I did uh, factor analysis and logistic regression. So, those are the things that you can put in there so that we see more details about the skill sets you have and how those would make you successfully at Cornell Tech.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you, Joe. Um, just one final quick thing before I kind of move on to the to our next slides is that if you are somebody who is an international applicant, we typically require a TOEFL IELTS. Now, you would be exempt, for example, if you attended a U.S. Or Canada institution. So just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of students always ask about that. And also, if you attended a institution outside of the U.S. or Canada, we do require a transcript evaluation, all because we want to make sure that we give you the most fair and accurate assessment when reviewing the application. So, just wanted to mention that. In terms of application timeline, so let's talk about that. So we have typically different deadlines depending on the programs. So as you can see, we have a priority deadline, we have a round two deadline, and we have a rolling deadline. One of the things that I did want to mention is that if you're really interested in our program, don't apply don't apply any later than the round two deadlines. You know, you want to make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity for us to review your application for sure. And the advantage of priority, except for part-time, is that you also get considered for scholarship. If like there's a guarantee that you will be considered for scholarship, assuming you said yes, you want to be considered for scholarship if you apply by the priority deadline, which is amazing. So just putting that out there. The way we typically work is that we want you to submit everything by that deadline in order to be considered for that deadline. So I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say, you submitted everything except your resume and you submit your resume for December 2nd, right? Because you submitted it on December 2nd, we end up moving you to the next round. But at the same time, I'm going to be honest with you. We're not trying to hurt you. We want to help you. So, if there are things that are outside of your control, because let's be honest, there's life happens, things happen. As long as you're in communication with us, we're going to work with you. Again, we want to help you. We don't want to hurt you. So let's say, you submitted everything and you requested a letter of recommendation on time, but your recommender submitted it on December 2nd. As long as you let us know, like, these are kind of things that happen. You did everything and things are out of your control. Again, we'll put you on that priority deadline if that's what it is. So, again, just communicate with us, let us know, and we're going to work with you for sure. But yes, and kind of what you can expect is usually we get a decision to you within 8 to 10 weeks from the priority and round two deadlines. That's kind of what you can expect. So just wanted to at least let you guys know that. So all of you guys, if you're a Master of Engineering, December 1st, right? We're going to apply December 1st. And if you're a Jacobs, January 5th. So, well, of course, you all jokes aside, you can choose what you want, but I encourage you with the priority if possible. All right, let's talk about financial planning and costs. So kind of what you're looking at is, typically 73,946 per year. So if it's, if it's a 1-year program, you only do that once. If it's a 2-year program, it's twice. And of course, there's all these other fees as well that are typically associated. In terms of housing, I just wanted to give you guys the most accurate number. So typically housing is anywhere from about 16 to 23,000, depending on the kind of option that you choose, because we have, we have, you can do your own housing. You can also do shared housing. And this is, the great thing is this is actually housing that's on campus, which is great. Actually, if you look at this building right here, that's actually our facility right there. A lot of our students talk about, they love the fact that it is 2 minutes away from their classes. If anything, one of the things they always say is the longest is the elevator wait. Because, whether you're in the 26th floor or the second floor, who knows? But it's just a convenient opportunity. And that is something that is available. I do want to be honest in saying that, you know, housing is not guaranteed for everyone. But it is definitely an opportunity that if you're interested in it, which is great, and it's convenient and something you can take advantage of if that's what you want to do. Or, there are other students also pursue different opportunities as well. Some, just decide to be on Roosevelt Island, maybe not necessarily this, but on Roosevelt Island, and it's still easy for them to walk 10, 15 minutes to the campus. Maybe they want to go to Queens or other parts of Manhattan. It's really up to you guys. Just wanted to make sure you had all kinds of different options. So. And I talked about this earlier, how I encourage you guys to apply by the priority deadline if scholarship is something that you're interested in. I do want to kind of let you guys know this. It's not typical that students who apply to master's programs get scholarships. But good news for you, Cornell Tech is one of the institutions that actually is very focused on trying to help make it as easy as possible for you, which is why we actually do provide scholarships for students who qualify, which is great. So, and just to kind of let you know, what a lot of students may get, at least for our programs, could be anywhere from 10 to 45,000, depending on the student. And these scholarships are typically for tuition only. It doesn't include any additional expenses, but again, it is still a great big help. And we make it easy for you. There's no extra grueling process to be considered for scholarship or like 5 steps. We do one-stop shop. On your application, we simply ask you a question. Do you want to be considered for scholarship? Yes or no? If you say yes and you're admitted, we automatically put you in the pool of the candidates that are being considered for scholarship, and the committee kind of does their thing and lets you know what you qualify for. Easy enough, right? So that's kind of how what we do to sort of make this so much easier for you. And that's how we typically work. And that's kind of what you can look forward to. And last but definitely not least, I know that a lot of you folks have kind of been asking questions throughout the presentation, but you still may have other questions, and that's okay too. And before I kind of get to that section, feel free to stay in touch with us. We are on all the social channels, and the great thing is about our social channels is, yes, you'll hear about a lot of the great things that are happening from a professional standpoint, but we also kind of highlight the fun stuff too, because we get it. You guys are, you're here to ultimately use this degree to help you take you to the next level, but also while you're here, you're allowed to have a little bit of fun too. So, we do have all kinds of clubs and student government and activities and things that also happen as well. So I think that also allows you to sort of see what's going on in that aspect. Our website's a good tool. And then as you can see, the admissions at tech.cornell.edu. That's a great way to sort of stay in contact with me. I check that inbox very regularly. So if you guys want to connect with me, that's a great way to do so. And if you wanted to chat beyond this, feel free to ask. I'm here for you. So just let me know. But outside of that, this concludes the presentation. At this point, what I'll be doing is sort of answering any questions that you might have. And you can do it one of two ways. You can either you can raise your hand, not physically. I mean, if you want to, I would say there's in Zoom when you click React. Not only there are effects, but one of the reactions or opportunities is for you guys to choose the raising hand feature. So if you guys want to do that, I will call on you live, and you can ask your question that way, and we'll answer it. Or if you prefer to do it on the chat, that's okay too. I'm going to make sure that your questions are answered either way, because I'll mix up the questions with both ways. So yeah, that's it. And for those of us, I know that this was advertised till 12. If you want to hang with me, you're more than welcome to. But if you feel you got all your questions answered, that's okay too. So just wanted to put that out there. All right, it looks like we got some questions. So I guess I will start off with Mark. I don't know if there's another Mark, but yep. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yes.
Hi, Alfred. Thanks so much for presenting today. I did have a quick question about where I had to step away for a bit for a meeting, and I was curious where the video would be posted, just so I could catch up on the part of the presentation that I missed.
Yeah. No, it's no
Will we get an
problem.
email about that?
Yes, absolutely. So what we usually do is we have it on YouTube, and so it'll be uploaded there, and then it'll be shared with you guys. So absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm just gonna do one more live question, then I'll kind of mix it up with the questions in the chat too. Um, by the way, pardon me if I say your name correctly. Adiola or Adola? Correct me, please. I want to say it the right way.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, Adela by name. Thank you for this presentation, Alfred and Joseph. Okay, I'm an international student and I have a question here. It's
Sure.
about the startup studio. I wanted to ask, how does the startup studio support students who have already found or own a startup before applying or joining the program at Connected?
Oh, well, I guess you're saying this because you already have your own. Congrats. That's awesome. Um, so, um, my understanding with, sort of sort of how this works and things of that nature is typically this is made for, someone who really is trying to sort of create a new idea and things of that nature. That's not to say that, connecting with other startup founders to sort of get their insights and help and mentorship wouldn't be something of great value to you, or even just connecting with our faculty, our industry practitioners, and things of that nature is going to be supportive. But it's really more so as if just giving you the skill sets and things of that nature that you would need to sort of build that startup in general. So I would say most of our students, I can't say all of them, but most of them, this is like a sort of a first time thing. But in general, even I think we've had some cases like yourself where they kind of are have created their own startup, or maybe or even on the earlier stages, and that's where a lot of the skills and things that you learn from presenting to investors, learning what the product market fit and all these other things is sort of what will continue to help you. So yeah, I would think if anything, maybe giving you different perspectives and just a good network is kind of the way you'll receive that sort of additional support that you need if you already have an existing a startup. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. I'm going to go to, let's see, the chat here, and then I will come back to you, the rest of the people here on the live. I just want to make sure that I'm fair to, and I combine this here. Let's see. Questions about eligibility and cartways. Um, Mohus, I apologize again if I'm saying this incorrectly. Mohusin, I know you had talked about wanting to learn about the health tech sector and a few questions about eligibility and career pathways. I imagine you may have added additional questions on the bottom. So as I get there, I will see that, but I will go to the next thing. It says here, what are some examples of other career paths? So other career paths could be that basically you pursued like a higher degree. We do get some students that will sort of start with us and then will end up wanting to get their PhD, or maybe they're doing a postdoc or things of that nature. So that's kind of what typically other paths mean. Um, I will go to the next question on the chat, um, and then I will sort of kick it back to our live folks. It says here, would it be fine if our resume is around 1.5 to 2 pages, or is it recommended to try to have as one page? Um, we always want, of course, the most succinct resume possible. We'd love it for it to be one page, if you feel that that extra half page or 2 pages is really going to make a huge difference in terms of communicating how your skill sets will be a great match for the program that you're applying for, or how it'll enhance that, then I say, you can go longer. So yes, it really depends on how valuable you feel those experiences are, and how much you feel it'll make a difference. So yeah, in short, you could go up to two if you wanted to, even if we per less. At the end of the day, it's you got to do what's gonna put you in the best point of success. Um, one final question, and then again, I will try to then I will go to the live actually. It says here, I guess it questions in regards to GPA. It says, if you're say you're someone who's, close to the 3.5 GPA, like, but are there other aspects or skill sets or things that you can really use to support your application and show strong application? So, I always tell students, I get it. Everyone's got different things, and you know, and 3.5 GPA is an average. My recommendation is this. You can feel free to email me, and I'd love to take a look at your resume. I'd love to like look at your transcript, and I'm happy to share with you if there's anything that I feel you should be highlighting, and any recommendations. So that's my recommendation to you, who had asked about, a GPA and other aspects that can sort of showcase your strength if you might be a little below the average. Brian?
Thank you, Albert, for sharing today. It's really valuable. And I'm Brian, and currently as a startup co-founder in Taiwan. I have a quick question about the admission perspective. And my
Oh,
question is among the MS programs, which one tends to be more open to candidate without CS or mathematics background. Like for instance, for me, I was graduated from business administrations and I major on business concentrations. And my question is back to that is among those programs, which one tends to be more sort of like flexibles on the admission perspective, and assuming the candidate has similar prerequisite in coursework and some sort of working experience. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. So typically our Jacobs, which is our connected media, health tech, and urban tech, have a little more flexibility because we have folks who um, have all kinds of backgrounds, from your what I call your traditional sort of CS or info sci sort of background to different ways folks have got enhanced their technical background. Um, but if you're interested in more like any of our masters of engineering things of nature, this is my recommendation. Because I'm giving you a general answer, but at the same time, I think the best way for me to be most accurate is to really look at your resume and your transcript as well. So if you want to email that to me, I'm happy to take a look and I'll say, yep, nope, you're pretty good for this program, or no, I recommend this, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, just send that to me to the admissions inbox, and I'll review it and I'll let you know what it looks like for you, or if there's other things that you could use to sort of enhance your application or clearly communicate your skill set.
Okay, thank you so much for replying. I'll send you afterward.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Okay. Let me see this other question. Okay, so the scenario is that interested in the part-time CS program. Awesome. And you're currently interning at a company and you plan to work full time. Oh, the manager's an alumni of Health Tech. Oh, that's awesome. So that's great. Uh, so I think you it looks like you kind of want to get a sense of how the part-time program works. Okay, yeah. So so the way the part-time program works is that it is for 2 years. And typically you're doing 6 to 9 credits per semester. And it is designed exactly for people like yourself who are full-time workers, but at the same time want to continue your education, which is great. And classes are typically available anywhere from morning to evening. So it's really kind of you kind of choose your schedule. We don't, while we don't have like a, set evening classes or set weekend classes, the fortunate thing is that you do have the flexibility of kind of choosing, again, all the way from morning to evening, because we have different classes at different available times, which is great. And as long as your manager is flexible, like that's what a lot of our students who end up enrolling in the program is like they kind of have this understanding and there's this flexibility for you to be able to take classes at different times. So that's kind of what you can expect. Again, 6 to 9 credits, and you kind of choose your schedule, at least for the regular classes, anywhere between morning to evening. And this happens for all the 4 semesters that you're here. Now, the other thing that is interesting though is that your the studio component, right? Because you're probably wondering how that works for somebody who's a part of the part-time program. As of right now, with kind of how studio works, is that for part-time students, you don't do that your first year. You actually end up doing that your second year. And what ends up happening is that with Product Studio, you also kind of have a sort of a remote option, which is great. Um, and that typically, as of right now, is happening on Fridays. So that's kind of what you can expect with Product Studio. And then when you choose your other experience, that's typically on Tuesdays and Thursdays, typically in the early evening. So you just kind of have to work with your supervisor, and as long as they're willing to work with you, that's really it. But that's kind of what you can expect, and you get the same quality, the same support. It's just more. It's broken down into 2 years, and that's kind of what you can expect. Um, all right. Let me see. I'll kind of go back to the live. Bensu?
Yes, Spencer. Um, I have a quick question. So right now, currently, I'm an undergrad student, a junior majoring in mechanical engineering with aerospace concentration.
Great.
And I'm still debating on doing my master's in mechanical engineering or aerospace engineering. I know we haven't mentioned aerospace engineering in our presentation, but I was going to ask if you have any information about where, like, if it's the requirement the same as the other engineering programs, and would it be on the main campus in Cornell, or like you were mentioning, would it be in New York City? Do you have any information on that one?
So, you're kind of you're correct. So at the Cornell Tech campus, that's not one of the programs that we do offer.
Yeah.
So you would have to take that kind of program in Ithaca. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. That was my question.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for stopping by, though. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah. Matthew?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much for the presentation. I really appreciated it. I had a question. I don't know if I missed this, but it was back about the product studio.
Sure.
Um, do all the teams tackle the same challenge from the same person, or are they bidding on certain ones after getting to campus, or is it they're all assigned before coming onto campus?
So there's a whole bunch of challenges that you can choose from. So and everyone's doing something different.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just you kind of like will like focus on what you're most interested in, and then
Mhm.
and then your industry advisor will kind of support you and your team as you're working on your solution for that. But yep, that's the great thing about it is that everyone gets a different opportunity to sort of work on whatever it is that they're most interested in.
Okay, perfect. So you're able to choose or like give an idea of what you would like to do, and then you'll have people or groups assigned to you about that.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Mark?
Yeah, thank you. I should have asked with the first question. So I'm someone who's planning to apply to the Connective Media dual degree program.
Yep.
And so I imagine that this, the letters of recommendation from faculty could be a little bit more, there's probably a greater variety. But I guess in general, my background is in computer science. But I personally felt the connections I built with the faculty at my university were typically more with the entrepreneurship faculty.
Great.
Um, just because and I was curious if for the information sciences program, would they prefer to see a professor from like a STEM, back like a computer science professor over an entrepreneurship professor, or in that case, would it not necessarily matter, and it's more about, you know, who knows, I guess me, who's worked closer with me.
Yeah, I would say who knows you best and has worked closer with you and also like you feel like they're going to show that you're a great fit for our program. So yeah, it doesn't matter. You just pick whoever you feel is gonna be your best advocate, I would say.
Yeah. What I tell students, Mark, is never force a letter of recommendation.
Hmm.
It'll either be mediocre or it'll come back to haunt you. Get your two best letters of recommendation. Okay.
Hmm.
So Typically, we like to see, so I mean, in your particular case, you could get one technical from a computer science professor and one from an entrepreneur professor. Okay.
Okay.
Or you get
Um,
one from an internship, research, or work experience type thing. But like I
yeah.
said, I always say don't force a letter of recommendation because we're saying you should have one of each. Because
Hmm.
what we find is some people have a couple of years of work experience, so they've been out of school for 2 years, so they have professional recommendations that are going to be really strong, but some of their professors may not remember them because what we
Right.
see is, you know, the person was in my class, they asked intelligent questions, they sat in the front row. Okay, that doesn't really tell me too much. So
Hmm.
focus on someone that can highlight your skill sets. So, like I said, have you worked in teams? Have you worked in interdisciplinary teams? Have you been a
Right.
leader of a team? What are your technical skills like? Um, in your particular case, you said you're interested in connective media.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so that's HCI, human
Hmm.
computer interaction. So
Right.
you understand how technology impacts humans and how humans impact technology and utilize technology. So those are the kind of things that you look for. And also I also tell people have a conversation with your recommenders. Don't let them
Yeah.
wing it.
Right.
Give them an info, I send them a copy of your personal statement and maybe a brief description of the program so that they can tie the recommendation into what's relevant rather than just saying Mark's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, that doesn't tell me anything.
Right. And then I guess could I use for the professional recommendation my startup advisor who I no longer work on that startup, but he was someone who mentored me uh over the course of like a year and a half and has probably one of the best understandings of my capabilities.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Like I
Hmm.
said, pick your two best.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Good question. All right, one more live, and then I'll go back to the chat. Um, again, apologies. Please correct me. AU Deji?
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, again.
Absolutely. I think Joseph kind of like answered one of my questions, which is
Oh,
regarding what's it called? Recommendations. So for someone, I'm interested in the LTech program.
great.
And I have a bachelor's of science degree in mechanical engineering, but that was like 7 years ago. I kind of like transitioned already. First off, I worked in an LTech startup for over 3 years as a data analyst. Then now I'm currently working for close to 3 years now in a fintech company as a data engineer. How does that fit into the LTech space? Because it's purely I've worked in the LTech space before, but now I'm fully into the financial space. But that's my interest basically, and most of my recommenders will majorly be professionals. That's why I said. Joseph already answered one of those questions. So my fit's basically into the LTech program. It's what I'm kind of like comparing. And you said something about evaluating uh, degree transcripts, and I was trying to pass that on. Those words count. Is it a must? Those are degrees from, and I'm an international student, basically, just to let you know.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, we get luckily with students like in the health tech program, as I mentioned, with the health tech program. I mean, we get students of all different kinds of walks of life in terms of their experiences. Um, so I mean, at least for I apologize. I say I probably heard most of it. It was a little low, but it sounds to me like you have some health tech experience, but you've kind of pivoted now to financial engineering now. Is that what you had said, I think? And, like that's what you're currently doing, but before you were doing health tech and that's really what your passion is?
Sorry, come again.
Oh, I said that I think you would mention that right now you're
A
right
data
now like
engineer at a fintech.
yeah, there we go. But you did have some health tech experience in your
Yeah, for two
career.
years.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, so that right there is valuable enough. I mean, because we get it, and life's not always perfect, and you have to sort of so as long I would say that right there is going to be helpful for you. Um, and I think as long as you're able to get the most relevant, whether it's the most relevant recommendations, and really show throughout the rest of your application, like especially the personal statement. That's another great place. Your passion, I think that puts you in a place of consideration for sure. So it's not like you're someone who doesn't have the experience. You actually do, and you said you have 3 years, which I think is helpful. You're also more than welcome to send over your resume and transcript if you'd like. I'm happy to take a look if I can make any recommendations. But yeah, I think you're at an advantage where you have some of that experience, which is great. So I hope that helps. And
Yeah,
I think you had a question about the evaluation process, like transcript
yeah.
evaluation.
The transcript evaluation, the IELTS, yeah, I'm fine with that doing the IELTS exams, but the WES, is that like compulsory, the WES evaluation?
So it doesn't have to just be like if you got your education outside of the US or Canada, it doesn't just have to be West. We also have a whole bunch of other agencies that you can do as well that are what we call NACES approved. So so yeah, it doesn't just have to be West. It could be something else that's part of our NACES agency approved organizations. Like we have like a Spantran or ECE and
ECE. Yep.
so
Okay,
yeah.
I guess I'll just reach out through email and kind of like get more information on that. And I'll
Yeah.
send you my transcript. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And your resume would be great too. That'd be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
Amazing. All right, let me get to the to the chat questions. It says, what are the main criterias in order to receive scholarship? So we're really looking at your whole application. Um, so this is why you need to make sure that you submit the strongest resume possible, the best personal statement, the best letters of recommendation. So pretty much all those components are what we're using not only for admission but also for scholarship review. It says here, can international students participate in Startup Studio? And if so, can they stay on campus after graduation while using their OPT to continue to build their startup? So my apologies. The first answer to your question is yes. In terms of like Startup Studio, whether you're international or a domestic student, anyone can participate in that. In terms of the OPT process with building your startup, I'd have to find out the specifics as to what qualifies in terms of using OPT. If you Joe, do you know that answer? If not, I'll check with Danielle or other team
Yeah.
members.
Let's just say international students have won the startup awards and do stay here.
Yes.
Typically, we work with our international student office, Office of Global Learning, as well as some legal advice on how to make that happen. So it is possible. I know a couple of the ones that won it this year are international students that were on the teams. So yeah, we have a mechanism to help that work. I, as Alfred says, because it involves international students and visa issues, we typically provide you with support on that, but it can change from year to year depending on what's going on in the world. But yes, we
Yeah.
do support our international students through startup awards.
Yeah. Yep. No, exactly. I think the question may have been more of something a little more general, in terms of even if you didn't win startup awards. And if that is your question again, we can also get you that information as well. So, um, it says here, I kind of answered this question not too long ago, but I just want to make sure I address it. I think you were talking about the course by course evaluations and what we accept. But as I mentioned, it could be West, EC, Spantran. There's a couple others as well that are part of the NACES approved agencies. So yeah, it's not just West. We have a whole bunch of other opportunities. It says here, are there opportunities for admitted students to receive additional funding, like being a TA? Just to kind of let you know. Um, Typically, we do have opportunities for students to sort of work on campus, but it's not something that's like a guarantee or there's like a whole bunch. It is more limited opportunities and based on the need of our professors. But things change from year to year. I'll give you an example. I remember a couple years ago, like our marketing team wanted to hire a photographer. So there are opportunities that come up beyond sort of roles where you're supporting faculty. But again, it's all dependent on a need basis. So I just wanted to kind of be upfront with that part.
Yeah. This is my recommendation. Our programs are super intense. Okay. MEng program's 1 year. MS program's 2 years. And as someone who's much older than all of you, I guarantee you life will give you plenty of opportunities to work. Do not work. Take full advantage of what the program has to offer. Okay. Get the financing together beforehand so that you don't have to worry about it because it's not just the classwork, it's the studio work, it's the career management stuff. So interacting with organizations that have their headquarters here in New York City, doing social things, meeting other people that could be your next startup partner or could be your access to a particular your dream job. So I always discourage people from working. Okay. People do work, but I discourage people from working. Take advantage of what you have to offer. Life will give you plenty of opportunities to work. I guarantee it.
That's true. Um, a question here talks about the at fee waiver. As I mentioned, you're going to get an email which pretty much gives you instructions. So even if you started something before, whatever the case may be, don't worry. Either way, it's going to work. Whether you started something or not, you'll have the instructions, and it'll be easy for you to do it. Don't worry about it. Brian, I know I answered your question live, so I'm moving on from that one. Other question. Let's see. Do we consider transfers for the MEng program? I didn't study computer science for undergrad, but currently work as a software engineer. Would like to hear how your team would consider this case. Um, let's see if Charles, are you still here on the, let me just take it. So as I tell, well, one, if you wanted to type a little more information, Charles, or if you wanted to ask live. But in short, I think what I always do, as I've mentioned to other folks on the call, if you wanted to send me your resume and your transcript, I'm happy to really just let um, how we would deal with your case. But again, everyone's got kind of different experiences, so it's just me making sure that I take a look and let you know if this is something that would be good, or again, if there's a couple other tips I can do to help you get there, because we don't want to miss out on good qualified candidates. So,
Yeah.
good question.
With computer science, most of the people that come into that program have a computer science background, so educational background. Um, if you have it through experience, you'll need to have multiple programming languages, data structures and algorithms, um, some background maybe in machine learning and natural language processing. Um, that program tends to be competitive. So the more computer science background you have, the better for computer science. Just like with Ori and data science and decision analytics, the more math you have, the better.
Yeah. No, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Um, I kind of like this. Oh, interesting. So it sounds like student said you have a bachelor's in physiotherapy. Can you apply for the health tech program? Well, that's definitely one good aspect is you definitely are interested in the health side for sure. So we just need to see a little bit of a technical skill set as well. But assuming you have that as well, I think it sounds like you might be a decent candidate, kind of what we're looking for. So yeah, thank you. I like that. That's awesome. Um, let's see what else. Oh, great, Charles. Perfect. I'm glad you'll reach offline. Excellent. Um, wow, you guys, this was longer than I thought, but that's a good thing. That means we're having a good time. Um, do you guys have any final questions? And again, you are more than welcome to ask it one of two ways. You can, use the raising hand feature. When you click React, it's one of the options outside the effects, and I'll call on you live. Or again, you can put it on the chat, and I'm happy to answer that question via the chat as well. So it's up to you guys. So, oh, Mark,
Yep, a returning customer.
awesome.
I was curious if the so it's a little confusing because I've been looking at a few different universities. Are is the statement of purpose like a standalone document compared to like because on the website it says to pick one of the two prompts. Is that a separate document? Because it seems like on some universities, statement of purpose is like purely, I guess, written by the individual, and then there's like supplemental essays. Or is the statement of purpose one of those two prompts? And I can send you the link if you're not 100% sure
I
what I'm referring
I
to.
I know what you're asking, and I know what you're saying. Yeah, so we're one of the institutions that we actually don't require additional prompts or anything like that. So yep, it's simply just you just pick one of those prompts that you want to write about, and that counts as your, you know, personal statement, statement of purpose, and that's it. Yep. So we don't have anything else that we're going to require outside of that.
Okay, perfect. That makes things much easier.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, no, absolutely. Cool. Um, Anyone else, guys? I mean, you've asked great questions, so I'm not complaining. I'm just just making sure we don't miss out if there's anybody else. But fortunately, even if it's not just right now, we have other multiple options as well to communicate, beyond today. So no issue. But
The other thing we
go,
do is we encourage you to stop by and visit us on campus. So if you're in the New York City area, stop by to visit us. We typically offer tours. We offer starting in the fall,
yep,
class visits. So if you want to
yep,
sit in on classes, um, it really most people when they finally make it to campus, they're pleasantly surprised. They really are impressed. I know they say in New York City, location, location, location. As you can see behind us, we are right on Roosevelt Island. I mean, it's a great location. But do stop by and visit us so you can get the real experience if you happen to be in New York.
yeah. And one more thing I wanted to add, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Joe. Is we also have been fortunate that our studio team is usually willing to allow our visitors to sometimes attend some of the functions that they have. So kind of look out for that too, because sometimes you get those opportunities as well. So you've heard all the great things, but also another good opportunity for you to actually witness it as well. So just wanted to put that out there. Um, all right. Well, any final questions? Going once. I'm doing it the slow one. Going twice. All right. I guess that's it. Well, everyone, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever that may be. But thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we'll all be in touch. Alrighty. Bye, guys.